Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Here we're going to have a look at Magnus Carlsen versus Anish Giri in the Chess24 Banter Blitz Cup. Already here you can see a very exciting position. What is happening? Bishop is attacking queen and knight, but let's take it from the top. From this table you can see Carlsen ended up winning the match 5.5, 1.5. So let's check out one of the games. Carlsen has white, Giri has black. The game began. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, bishop b4. The Ragozin defense. And here, Magnus plays e3. And we transpose into a Nimzo Indian after castle and a3. Now the bishops come off. There's no point retreating the bishop. So here, black gives white doubled pawns with bishop takes c3 check, take back, and now c5 striking in the center. And here, Carlsen plays queen c2, a waiting move. Not developing this bishop yet, because maybe black is going to take, so then you get the bishop out in one go. So queen c2, just waiting for a move. Knight c6, putting pressure in the center. Along with the pawn on c5, ideas of e5 as well. Typically queen goes to c7 to support an e5 break. Now a4. This bishop can come to a3. Now black can play b6, he can go rook e8, maybe queen c7 as mentioned before. Here, Giri goes rook e8. Now after a4, there are only 5 games in the database. Another move is b6, planning bishop a6. So then it might force white into a decision with c d5, and then we've got 2 choices. E d5 is played in the game, or even queen d5, opting for a quick e5. So rook e8 played, take in the center, and now e d5. It's quite interesting. You can play queen d5, even though it's a bit weird, because you put your rook here, but now you're going for the e5 break. And here the game could continue in this different way, maybe bishop b5, maybe bishop d7, rook c8 next, finding the right moment to take on d4 and e5 as well. So this is just a completely different way the game could have gone. Now after c d5, Giri took with the e-pawn, makes sense. The rook is now on a half open file. Now bishop e2 could be played, but Carlsen goes pawn grabbing. D takes c5, white must open up the position, even if his pawns look temporarily ugly. Here, knight e4 played, and bishop d3. Putting pressure on this knight and also saying to Giri, you can't move this knight unless there's going to be a problem on h7. So that's why here Giri played h6. Bishop a3, defending, and now queen a5. So then now black has 2 pieces on c5. So Giri plans to get his pawn back, and then his structure will be better. Notice black is attacking the c3 pawn, but he's not going to take it. White now castles and knight c5 played. Queen c3 is a blunder because he played bishop takes e4, removing the defender to the queen, but also at the same time white still protects his own queen. So after this you are just going to be down a piece. So castle, knight takes c5, and bishop b5, cutting off the defense to the knight from the queen. But there was a brilliant move, and you saw this at the beginning of this video. Bishop to b4. So let's check out this amazing move now, because it looks like it's going to win a piece. So a cool idea coming up. So knight takes b4, we're going to have a look at. Let's just say you retreat the queen to b6. Still defending your knight on c5, but you go a5. And now the queen can no longer defend it. So if you go knight b4, you just take back. So queen and knight are under attack. So you take on b4 and then rook b1. And it's very similar to the top line. The queen is trapped. Actually, it's not trapped. You can throw your queen over there, but then you're just going to be down a piece. So, if you want, black could get knight and rook for the queen. Take, take, But after queen c5, there's just no coordination for black. Knight a6, queen d5, white is winning. So after bishop b4, knight b4, c b4, queen b4, rook b1, same as before. And yeah, you could throw your queen over to g4, but then you lose the knight. So once again, you give up knight and rook for queen. By the way, after queen a5, rook b5, you're going to lose the knight. So the best choice, knight d3, but after take, no coordination. We'll go queen c5 again. The difference is now black has a5, so then knight is defended, but knight defends d5 pawn. And here, white is better. White is winning. Back to the game, bishop b5 played. Knight back to e4, and now c4. And here, black plays a really good move. a6, and Giri has got out of this. Now black is fine, because after a6, Carlsen has to make a decision with this bishop, so he takes on d5, now rook c1. Are you enjoying the video so far? Then why not like it and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release a new video. Now back to this very close middle game between Carlsen and Giri. And Giri plays a cool move, bishop d7, rather than a normal move like bishop e6. Which is not great because this bishop is just a big pawn. The knight can just go to d4 and bishop on e6 is just tragic. So bishop d7, attacking a4, but also a rook can go to c8. So bishop d7, great move. Black is fine. Bishop back to b2. So then rook and queen defend this, but also this bishop is facing the king. Rook c8 and queen d1. Carlsen now said, now I'm not better anymore. Rook takes c1. Let's go queen c1, rook c8, queen back to d1, queen b4. So black is fine. Black is pretty active here. Bishop to e5. Now bishop takes a4. Another option was just queen c4. Maybe better because you keep the pressure. This queen protects your pawn. This bishop continues to attack this, but also notice queen and rook control the c-file. Black can play f6 to kick it away. Black has a great knight on e4. So maybe instead of trading your isolated d-pawn, you put the queen on c4 and then you keep the pressure. But after bishop e5, bishop a4 is great. And queen takes d5. Notice the trap. You can't play rook takes because of the back rank. Queen takes a4. Take, and then it is mate on the back. That's why after bishop takes a4, it's a nice tactic from black. Grabbing the a-pawn, we're going to go queen d5, and then bishop back to c6. Great move. Queen was attacking knight, and now you defend it with the bishop. So queen back to a2 and bishop b5. Black is fine. Just get f6 in and then try to blunt this bishop. h3, give your king some room. Queen c4. A queen trade is fine. So take, knight d4, and here Giri blunders with knight c5. Because this knight is coming to f5, and unfortunately for him, he missed it. A great move is f6, just shutting it out, and then if the bishop moves back, black can play g5, king f7, ready for an equal endgame. However, it is a blitz game, so they both started with 3 minutes, and they get 2 seconds per move. After knight d4, Giri played knight c5, allowing knight f5, and it's a double attack. There's a threat on g7, but also knight d6 attacking rook and bishop, and here black's in trouble. Rook e8, bishop takes g7. Bishop e6. Is white in trouble? No, because even though black attacks the knight, white now attacks the rook and gets out. Knight d6. You got to save your rook, and then bishop e5, you save your bishop, whilst protecting your knight on d6. So a great sequence. That's why knight f5 works in favor for white. And here, black is down a pawn. And also his pawns are shattered. All pawn islands. So bishop e5, king h7, rook a5. Great move, because if the knight moves, your pawn is going to drop. So knight d3, attacking the bishop, got to save it first, and then knight back to b4. Now rook a4. the a pawn drops, because if you move the knight, then you can take on a6. Notice you can't play rook b8 because knight takes f7. Discovered attack onto the rook, and you're 2 pawns up. So Giri plays knight d5, rook a6. Let's see the rest. Knight c3, king h2, rook d7, bishop e5. Setting up some mate threats along this diagonal, attacking the knight at the same time. We're going to play rook a8 to create mating threats, knight d5, e4, knight e7, and a cool move here, knight e8. We don't normally think of putting a knight on that square, but we're coming round. You go forward and then you come back. Knight f6 attacking king and rook. So knight e8 is really cool. Knight g8, stopping the knight coming into f6. So rook a8 is cool. f5, and now knight c7. The bishop is no longer defended by the pawn on f6, so now we bring the knight this way to attack it. Rook e7 defending, and bishop d6. Not trading yet. One more attack on the rook. Rook d7, knight takes e6, rook takes d6, and e takes f5. Here, Giri resigned because he's not only 2 pawns down now, but 3 pawns down, so he had enough. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. That means you probably liked the video. If you did, why not give it a like? And subscribe to the channel at the same time. Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release another video.